If you think that ChatGPT is going to change how you list and sell homes, you're mistaken. Sellers and buyers are savvier today than they've ever been. They want clarity. They want the right data. They want somebody who knows how to guide them through the entire process, not just a bunch of fluff. And here's what you're going to hear in the industry. You don't need to learn what to say. All you got to do is go to ChatGPT and ask for the perfect script, the perfect language, the perfect thing to do. And you're going to go in there and you're going to type 3 lines and you're going to bop, 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 bop. And here's the problem with that. If you don't know what to tell it to do to become different, what do you think's going to happen? What ChatGPT is, it's a lazy language model. And it's going to go out there and it's going to see what's the most abundant amount of energy, of the most abundant amount of information about a topic. And when it looks up a real estate script, what do you think it's going to find? Do you think it's going to find the stuff that very few people are leveraging using human psychology, like what we teach inside of our DHIS Academy? Or is it going to pull out the stuff that's been around from 1980, that's been repackaged in the 90s, repackaged in the 2000s, repackaged in 2010, and repackaged again in 2020? That's right. It's going to pull out the same exact stuff that you already hate. It's going to put a couple of new fancy words. It's going to put a couple of emojis in there, and it's going to spit it out, and you're going to still sound like a robotic monkey, and you're going to still hate everything that's on the page because guess what? If you don't understand psychology, how can you ask the language model to build your psychology script? Then you have to tell it what you think you like. And you're going to say, well, I want to make it so that I look like the expert and I look like the local neighborhood expert and I look like this and I look like that. And so ChatGPT is going to do exactly what you tell it to do. And here's the problem with that. If you don't know what to tell it to do to become different, what do you think's going to happen? Guess right. It's going to go back out there. It's going to find the same stuff that's 40 years old, 30 years old, 20 years old, 10 years old. And it's going to build you the frameworks around that language patterning. Because if you go online and you type in real estate script, what are you going to see? The same exact stuff over and over and over again. You're going to do the tour of the home. Hey, give me a line by line map, GPT, of what to do in a listing presentation. You know what it's going to tell you? Walk in, greet the seller and say, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today. Just like everybody else. It's going to then say, we should take a tour of the home, just like everybody else. And then you're going to say, at the end of the tour, the seller is going to say, what? Well, what's the house worth? And you're going to say, just like everybody else, well, that just depends on when you're looking to move. And they're going to say, well, what does that even mean? And you're going to still sound, guess what? The exact same. And you're still going to hear at the end of the day, well, we want to think about it. That's an objection. We're not in a rush. That's an objection. We want to interview other agents. That is an objection. We'll call you back next Tuesday, which means they will never call you back. Because if somebody's absolutely certain that they're going to work with you, you know what they're going to do? They're going to work with you. Yesterday, I was on a sales call. The guy says, hey, I'll call you back. I just want to talk to my wife. I said, but you said this was the absolute product that you need. You said this was this. You said this was that. And guess what? The next day he had more questions, because if somebody's absolutely certain, there's only one action they should take, and that's to move forward with you. Now, if you don't create clarity, well, Vic, they weren't ready to buy or sell yet. That's right, because you didn't give them absolute certainty and clarity. Your scripting model was old. Instead of you having a process where you walk them through how to get their overarching goal, the surface level problem where you probe and clarify to get to their deep rooted pain. If you can't do that at the beginning of a conversation, your entire presentation is going to be based off of a surface level problem. And do people buy and sell in the wonkiest real estate market we've seen in the last 10 years with the highest interest rates? Or do they kind of, let me think about it? People don't take big action in times of uncertainty. Your process that you use, The reason why we do presentations where we talk about market dynamics, we talk about pricing strategies, we talk about the good and the bad about buying a piece of property. We sell the no, right? When a buyer says to you, well, we're thinking maybe we should move. Maybe you shouldn't move. But Vic, why would you say that? Because then they're going to tell you why they need to. Maybe you guys aren't in the right mindset to move right now. Maybe it's not the right time for you guys. Yeah, we're kind of thinking that. Why are you guys kind of thinking that? Well, because right now interest rates are really high. We think the market's going to come down next year. We think this is going to happen. We think that's going to happen. We think this is going to happen. We think that's going to happen. Oh, now what do you have? You have their real concerns and objections. And if you have their real concerns and objections, what can you help them do now? Now you can use the DHIS, the disarm, humanize, and isolate and solve method, right? So now we can disarm one objection at a time. Rates are high. Tell me more. We think the market's going to crash. Why do you feel like that? What makes you think that the market's going to crash? Is there something that you guys saw in the news that makes you feel that the market might crash? Well, we think X, Y, and Z. We think X, Y, and Z. We think X, Y, and Z. The more you can get them talking about X, Y, and Z, the more opportunities you have to help them out their actual real concern of why they're thinking about possibly making a move. Because a seller isn't selling until they're buying. Got a client I'm working with right now. They don't want to sell their home until they're locked and loaded on the purchase, right? So they're not really super aggressive on the sale. Why? Because they don't know if they're going to find the right house. They don't know if they're going to get it for the price that they want, at the terms that they want, in the condition that they want, in the neighborhood that they want. And so although they're getting the home ready, what do we have to focus on right now? Finding the home, letting them know that there is a property out there. When you're working with clients in real estate, you have to be okay with everything happening. You have to be okay with them starting the search. And if you're not fast enough to find them the property, stopping the search. Why? Because if you can't get somebody from A to B quickly, then they start to see other things and they see themselves out. People get tired. Looking at homes is exhausting. Is it not? Isn't showing homes exhausting? Imagine you got 2 kids, you got a family, you got jobs, you got family stuff happening, and you're out there every single weekend looking at homes for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weekend. Eventually you get exhausted and you just say, you know what, babe, maybe it's not meant to be right now. Let's just put it on hold. And your inability to find them the home that they're looking for quickly because you're just out there showing property after property after property. You don't have connections to off-market property. You don't have connections to people who are looking for things that might not be easy to find is what causes you to lose deals. You sounding like everybody. How fast do you want to be in your new home? No, instead ask this. How long have you guys been thinking about getting into a new property? Do you see the difference? One is you're forcing them to make a decision. The other one, you're asking them how long they've been thinking about making a decision. If you want to learn psychology, click the link below, book in a call with myself or our team. Let's see if what we do that's helped thousands of agents, right? If not, just keep watching the videos above and below about buyers and listings, buyers and sellers, so that you can get more out of your time that you're working. And remember, GPT is great, but most of us are trying to use it till we don't have to do the things like learn how to communicate with. And that's what you got in this business for, was communication. Talk to you soon. Peace.